Last but not least for this week, we're going to be moving on to the wide receivers in our NFL pre-draft player rankings.
Just wait until we get to Jared.
About to get
All right,
very interesting.
all right. Just to say this, we all have the same 5 players. The order of these 5 players changes drastically. Drastic change. AJ, you want to continue the trend and go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Obviously, number 1, probably the best prospect in my mind is Laquan Treadwell.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So, Laquan Treadwell, some people have been having concerns about his speed, but I still think he's an amazing prospect. I mean, he's almost like Amari Cooper in that sense. He's not as fast as Amari Cooper, but his size and his just ability to go up and get the ball is
big body.
Is big body. I mean, he's 6'2" is not that big for a wide receiver, but then again,
he's muscular.
But he's 221. He's a big body receiver. He'll go up and I love when people do that. Like the players do that. Like Calvin Johnson really made that a trend, going up at over 2 defenders, catching the ball at its highest point, going down.
Randy Moss made that.
Oh yeah, well both players, yeah. So he's just that big body guy. He'll go up and get any ball that you throw at him. He's just an amazing prospect in my mind. I don't care about his speed. He'll still catch the ball.
I just want to say one thing. Spoiler alert, you have Josh Doctson as number 4.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about you love receivers being able to go up and get it, that's literally Josh Doctson.
Uh-huh.
So I find that interesting that you have him at 4.
I will say why I didn't have him higher. So, number 2 is Corey Coleman. He's a good slot. He's pretty small. I didn't think he was that small, but he's 5'11". I didn't really think he was that small. So he's my second because of just his speed and his agility and his ability to be that slot guy or that second wide receiver who will get the slant and will just go. He has that breakaway ability like you saw at Baylor. Just a tremendous player in my mind. Number 3 in my mind, like you said, big body wide receivers. Well, that's Will Fuller. He's 6 foot, but actually no, he's not really that big body. He's not really that big body. I didn't mean big body, but a guy that will go up and catch the ball. He's also the speediest guy in the draft, so that's not really saying much because he only ran a 4.36.
3.2.
But 4.32.
I mean, that's fast.
That's definitely very fast.
I mean, for the average man, that's one of the fastest you'll ever see. But in terms of players in the draft, that we had a really.
I'd say this is a slow.
Yeah, we had a really slow draft.
Except for a few names.
Yeah, I mean, the last year someone ran a 4.20 or and then a wide receiver ran a 4.28. I'm pretty sure that was Amari Cooper or someone else.
It was I remember Dre Archer.
Dre Archer ran a 4.21, but
someone else did last year.
Yeah, so we're definitely getting. This is definitely a slow draft, and the reason why he's up there is because he's the fastest, and he was just amazing at Notre Dame. He was the top wide receiver there. Yeah, that's why I have him number 3. Number 4 is Josh Doctson. The only reason I think that Josh Doctson is better than Will Fuller, and maybe Corey Coleman. But if we're talking about this draft, the only reason I put him behind those 2 is because of his injury. He got injured. His hand got injured. It's still kind of a concern going into the draft. That's the only reason why I put that there. Josh Doctson, like I said, big body wide receiver. He's the epitome of that. He'll go up and catch any ball you throw at him. I just love those receivers that can do that. Julio Jones, Alshon Jeffrey, Calvin Johnson, just to name a few. So that's why I have him 4th, just because of his injury. And finally, we have Michael Thomas. I didn't really know who he was before the draft. I honestly didn't. He just came out of nowhere. He's bigger than Laquan Treadwell and Josh Doctson. I didn't know that either. But he also is pretty fast. He I don't know the 40 that he got, a 4.4.
4.57.
4.5. That's not that fast, but Michael Thomas, definitely a big body wide receiver. Yeah, I like him more in the slot because of just his agility, not the speed. It doesn't matter about speed, his agility out of his cuts and everything. If you watch his highlights.
I want to say one thing about receivers that a lot of people that don't know much about football get is a misconception about receivers. Speed isn't what you need to get open.
Yep.
You need route running. Perfect example of this is a list of receivers, but the one that I can think of right off the top of my head, Wes Walker. That man you would never think is not fast really at all. But you could say Tom Brady was throwing the ball, but he was wide open.
All the time.
He got himself wide open.
Another guy is Odell Beckham.
Yeah, well, he's extremely fast.
Yeah.
But those and Antonio Brown, all those guys that can run their routes crisp, it doesn't matter how fast you are. Because if the cornerback that's versing you can run like a 3 second 40-yard dash, he's that fast. He's like unbelievable. But if you can make him like slip for a second, you're open. So it all depends on the route running of these players. That's why Laquan Treadwell being slow only matters to a certain extent, is why I would say that.
Yeah, people that know football and like play it, like me and Nick do, like as wide receivers, you'll know that like comeback route, the hardest route to run, right, Nick? As a wide receiver,
It's definitely hard.
the hardest route to run. If you can run that comeback route perfectly, it's over for you as a cornerback. You're never going to cover it. Never going to cover that. If you can run that, and that's what those players that you name can do. So route running is definitely the most important aspect besides being big-bodied. And Michael Thomas could be that guy with his, and Will Fuller with their speed. If they can run their routes crisp, because that's what Michael Thomas is. He's a good route runner. Yeah. So, yeah, those are my top 5. Laquan Treadwell, Corey Coleman, Will Fuller, Josh Doctson, and Michael Thomas.
All right. Well, that took up a lot of time, so we're going to have to go pretty fast.
Sorry
but Laquan Treadwell, I was wrong when I told you that Mike Mayock's player comparison was Terrence Williams. That was for Josh Doctson. The player comparison for Laquan Treadwell was DeAndre Hopkins. So
pretty good.
Pretty good comparison. But I have Laquan Treadwell as my number 1 for obvious reasons. Corey Coleman as my number 2 as that John Brown. I love John Brown in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's the comparison to Corey Coleman makes me just love Corey Coleman. I love those quick little
Soft
shifty receivers that could go deep because they could burn you deep with their speed, that could go underneath, can run clean routes. I love receivers like that, and if you put them in the right offense, they could be extremely dangerous like Josh Brown is now. Or John Brown. Next I have Josh Doctson. Different from you. You had Will Fuller.
Yeah, we switched.
I like Josh Doctson because he's a go-up-and-get-it type receiver. He kind of reminds me of, not as good, but more of like an A.J. Green, I think. I like that A.J., like a little more scrawny, not that A.J. Green's scrawny, but I'm saying compared to like a Calvin Johnson type player, he's in that perspective, he's relatively not as muscular. And I love how he could go up and get the ball and be able to fight for it in the air and come down with it a majority of the time. He's very good at that. And he's going to be able to be very good on deep routes. And if he's on the right team, he could also be extremely, what I'm looking for, like, very just say extremely well for the team that he plays for.
And I think that Josh Doctson's better than him as a player, but again, with that injury, that's the only reason why I put Fuller ahead.
Will Fuller, I like him. I'm not in love with him. I like him because of his speed, and if he could fix up his routes and start running better routes, I feel as though as a third down receiver, like when it's 3rd and long and like you need, or like something quick, a little dinky screen across the middle, like that's what I feel like he will excel at, and that's what I love about him, why I have him at number 4. And finally, number 5, I have Michael Thomas. I'm not in love with Michael Thomas. I think that he's a boomer bust type player. He could be huge, but he could also not really do that much. So he's got to see about the team he goes to and how they use him. But for the highlight of this, we're going to let Jared take it away with all the receivers that he's gotten.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he's changed a little bit. He changed his 4 and his 3.
Yeah.
No, I switched my 4 and my 5.
It was worse.
It wasn't worse. I switched my 4 and my 5.
No, you had.
Just let him go.
Let's sit back and watch.
Number 1, the obvious choice, Laquan Treadwell. No.
Why?
Who's your number 5?
Michael Thomas.
Who's your number 5?
Michael Thomas.
Best receiver in this draft is Michael Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Let that sink in.
I don't really know how to handle a sentence like that, but yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Michael Thomas, 6'3", 212 pounds, 4.5 40-yard dash. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he has a good pair of hands. He has...
every wide receiver has a good pair of hands.
Alright.
Fair.
Yeah. Tell Stephen Hill that.
Okay, fair point. Great point.
Every wide receiver, right? Alright. This guy, Michael Thomas, is the perfect blend of height, speed, hands, that to be a starting number one wide receiver in the NFL. You know, he has a good release off the line of scrimmage. I've been watching him. He always, like, beats his man. He might not be the fastest. He's strong off the line of scrimmage. I just feel like this guy, you get him in the right system, he can be a megastar. And I can't stress that enough. I mean, you put him at your number 5, and I put him at my number 1. That just shows you what I think about this guy. I just think that he can be great.
Just to show you his stats. Last year, well, the total amount of stats that he had for the 3 years that he went there was 113 receptions, 1,602 yards, and 18 touchdowns.
That's total?
Total.
That's pretty rough.
Last year...
Was he hurt, though? I'm not familiar with
I don't think he was really
He played 11 games in 2012, which was normal because the Ohio State was on a ban. He did get hurt for the 2013-2014 season. Ohio State went to the national championship. He only had 54 receptions, 799 yards, and 9 touchdowns. The next year, the next year he got worse. He played 13 games and he had 56 receptions, 781 yards, and still 9 touchdowns.
He's still saying that as though it's horrible.
Okay,
I don't think it's horrible, but compared to everybody else, Laquan Treadwell had 1,200 and I don't know his exact stats, but Will Fuller had 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns. I'll check that.
I just think that he's a red zone threat. He's huge, and I think that he's a very, very good red zone threat because of his size and his jumping ability. He's good jumping wise. So I like him. I like him from that.
I got you.
But I like him in that perspective. But like I said, I don't disagree with you. He has all the
physical traits.
All the physical traits to be a great number 1 wide receiver. It's just he's a little inconsistent. He's got to work on like his footwork, run blocking a little bit like that. But I mean, other than that, I feel as though he can be a very, very good receiver. But like I said, in my opinion, he's a boomer bust.
I don't know about number 1 though, but yeah.
Maybe not number 1, but
yeah.
I mean, no, actually, false. He has the potential to be. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure out in the next few years.
Number 1 receiver, write it down. Number 2, Laquan Treadwell, consensus number 1. No, Corey Coleman is the number 2.
Okay.
Out of Baylor.
That's what we all had as well.
Yeah. 5'11", 194. He figures to be more of a guy out of the slot, like these guys said. You know, he's not big, but he does have good speed. He didn't run the 40 at the combine, but you know, just watching him, you could tell he's speedy. He's quick. You know, he'll get off the line of scrimmage. I feel like he'll be a good slot guy. And even that is good enough to be better than Laquan Treadwell, who is my number 3 guy.
But then again, he was number 4 just a couple minutes ago. Just a couple minutes ago. So, just like to say that.
Alright, anyway, he's big, he's strong, but he's not fast. I don't see him running a lot of good routes. I just see them really... I mean, if you watch it, he clearly is I don't know how to say this. He's just like a dominant guy because he's so big and so strong. Unlike Michael Thomas, like I was saying, you know how I said he was big and everything? This guy's big, but you could tell he's big.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He's not just Michael Thomas who's big, skinny, but he'll get, like I said. But this guy's just big. He dominates smaller guys on the cornerback he plays. 82 catches, 1,153 yards, 11 scores. That's good, but I just don't think it'll translate to the NFL just because he dominated smaller guys in college. Will Fuller is my number 4. He's obviously the quick guy. He'll take the top off of defense. I could see him like, who'd you say earlier? Ted Ginn?
For Josh Doxson, you said?
No, Will Fuller.
Will Fuller, yes, Ted Ginn. They compared him to Ted Ginn.
Oh, I meant to be talking about Josh Doxson, didn't I?
Yeah,
all right.
so I was confused.
All right, yeah. I just messed this up because I switched Doxson and Fuller too. But Doxson's actually my 4, like they were talking about.
I compared
big
him
guy.
to AJ Green.
AJ Green, I could see that because, like you said, big guy, good hands. He'll jump over guys. He'll make the catches all the time. Like AJ Green does. Sorry I messed up, but now Will Fuller, he's going to be the guy to take a top off of defense like Ted Ginn, I think you said earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah, so I feel like he'll play that guy, take a top off defense. He's fast, you know, he can, if he better footwork, run better routes, he could be a better guy all around. That's pretty much it.
Okay, and now we are done with the offensive side of the ball, besides offensive lineman for draft player rankings, and now we're going to move on to, next week, defense, but now we're going to move on to team by team analysis.